So Jason Bittner here with me, Shadows Fall. How you keeping busy these days? Like you're always working at it in music?
Yeah, I seem to never end, it seems like, but that's a good thing. It's good to stay busy. Right now, Shadows Fall is just, we just wrapped up an Asian tour, which was pretty much the last tour for this tour cycle. And right now we just actually started writing a little bit of new material. We're just starting our second new song. So writing a batch of new songs, and hopefully we'll be in the studio by, we're hoping March or April. We're really hoping we can get this done pretty quickly and get the hell back out there.
And then go back on the big road.
Yep, exactly. And then Burning Human right now, we've had a lot of new ideas and songs that we've never been able to really work on since we did the last record, because, you know, as soon as I finished up doing that record, I was back out on tour with Shadows Fall, because that's, you know, obviously the main priority. So now it's like catch-up time, so now we're working on a bunch of new Burning Human stuff, which has been really cool. You know, as I said, you know, the material's been for a while, so now it's nice that we can finally put it together and coming together pretty quickly. So I'm really hoping that we can get that recorded too before Shadows Fall gets again, because I have a feeling that if it's going to be put off for a year. So Burning Human, hopefully we'll get that done before Shadows Fall goes back out on the road again. In my spare time, I'm doing some clinics and lessons and playing in an Alice in Chains tribute band as well. So
I see that you post stuff on YouTube, like your drum clinics and stuff. What do you think of that, you know, for people to look at that on YouTube and say, I'm going to go and see Jason Bittner play at these clinics?
I hope it draws them to come see me play. I hope it draws them to come see me play. I hope it also, you know, helps to get some students here and there, because, I mean, I have an online teaching thing now, too, so pretty much anybody in the world can take a lesson with me as long as they have Skype and PayPal and a webcam. So, you know, I just pretty much put that stuff up because a lot of the stuff that I do in clinic is not stuff that's either A, appropriate for Shadows Fall, or B, belongs in that kind of music, like different you know, the different styles of music that I touch upon during the clinics, and as well as like just some of the drum solo-y kind of stuff, like the ostinato stuff. You know, I don't really play multi-pedal foot patterns in Shadows Fall. You know, that's just saved for the clinics, just for a straight, like, technical and coordination standpoint, because the drum clinic is supposed to be just that. It's supposed to be a learning experience. It's supposed to also be another showcase for, you know, what you can do. So whereas, you know, I pretty much do my job in the band just playing for the song. So the clinics are a good way to, you know, for me to get out the other stuff for me that I can play.
And also gives you some extra rehearsal time for yourself to learn some different patterns, for sure.
Certainly does.
And for online teaching, how long you been doing that?
We actually just went live with it last week.
Okay.
So, yeah, me and John actually from Shadows Fall. We're working with a company called RockSource 360. That's actually the website. It's www.rocksource, RockSource360.com. And there's a whole bunch of different instructors up there. You know, it's all online stuff. Pretty self-explanatory. It's actually really, really cool.
Do you think nowadays kids, you know, looking at this stuff online, let's say, for online teaching is a way different experience than, you know, when you started out playing?
I'm sure it is. I can't really give you an honest answer on that because I haven't really done any of the online lessons yet, so I don't really know how the interaction's going to be. I know it's going to be weird. I'm also concerned with the fact that, you know, I know on my end that I have, you know, a high internet coverage, and I have a good working signal, and I've got all the proper stuff on my end that I need to provide for the lesson. But my major concern is going to come from on the student end, because, you know, with me, I'm giving the lesson on my Roland kit, so I have the ability just to easily turn down the volume so everything is nice and audible coming through computer speakers. You know, you're not going to hear that distortion. But if I have a kid on the other end of the screen who's got, you know, just their drum set next to the computer, I'm sure it's going to sound like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's going to be hurdles and obstacles that we're going to have to cross with this online stuff, but I think it's just an easy way. It's an easy way for people who probably would never be able to physically get near you, you know, due to where they live or whatnot, at least to sort of get a one-on-one lesson with the person. So I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't think it's ever gonna replace being personal with a teacher, because there's just more to get out of a live lesson, I personally think. And stuff like, let's say personally, if you wanted to, like, if the drummer's at the end of the lesson is like, oh, I want to, play with you a little bit and go back and forth, trade fours, do a little soloing. Well, that's all well and good if you're online and you're all hooked up to headphones and you can hear what the other person's doing and they can hear you, but that's probably not going to be the case. So that's why, in that live setting, as long as you're sitting there with another drummer, you can play together. But, online it might be a little difficult.
Another thing, too, I see that you're doing a great job on is you're posting clips of you playing live, like side cams and all that stuff. When did you come up with this idea to do this, to post for the fans?
Well, I spend a lot of time with my buddy Derek Roddy. My wife and I have a condo in Florida. That's pretty much we're neighbors with him and his wife. And I spend a lot of time with him, and he's been doing that stuff for years, so I kind of followed suit, started putting up more footage. And then once I built my drum studio in the garage, I wanted to start, advertising that a little bit too. So it was just, it was one of those things where it was time to start doing that stuff. And once again, I think it's cool, too, for the fans who actually want to see, if you're curious to see, well, what do I do when I'm home? Well, here, I'm going to post a 30-minute video of me practicing, with all the, mistakes and everything. So I think it's just kind of cool to give back a little bit.
Let's talk about the Bark at the Moon video you guys did. That's totally awesome. Like, whose idea was it to bring that into Shadows Fall?
We were talking about it one day because we did the first video, Still I Rise, and we weren't sure if we were going to do another one, and then we got a budget, and it was a smaller budget, and we're like, you know what? Someone in the band, I think actually it might have been, I think it was John, who said, we should actually we were talking about it on the bus, we were like, we should remake the Ozzy video and try to get, like really remake it as best as we can and see if we can get Ozzy to actually be in it. But unfortunately, we didn't get that far. We couldn't make that happen, unfortunately. But we took what we could and we redid it to the best of our ability. And it's definitely it's a very low budget, very campy, and obviously we did it as well as we could. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a funny video. It's not supposed to be serious. I'm sure some kids who don't get it, who've never seen the original, are like, what the hell are these guys doing? But if you know the original video, you probably laugh your ass off when you see it.
I think it's quite genius, It's just like almost duplicate of the original one.
I mean, and a lot of stuff, we did that on purpose, like the shot-for-shot stuff, like especially the part where, I'm dressed up like Carmine Appice and doing the stick twirl. I mean, we did that, literally scene for scene from the video. The best part about it is when I called Carmine to tell him that we were doing it, he was laughing. He's like, I can't wait to see you dressed up like me.
So he's seen it?
Oh yeah, I sent him the link once we finished it, and he put it up on his website for a month. It was great.
Awesome. Did Ozzy see it? That's the main thing.
Not sure if Ozzy saw it or not. That we have no we can neither confirm or deny that.
Because that's the man you want to show the video to. But a great job on the video. It's super, for the people that do remember the original one. This is like almost a duplicate in a, comedic way.
Yep, exactly. Thank you.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. On the album Retribution, what type of drum equipment did you use and microphones? Same stuff you usually use? Yeah,
pretty much. It's been the same lineup that we've had for years as far as all the gear goes. That one. Once again, we're back at Zeus's, so it's all the same mics and preamps and compressors and everything that he's used on all our past records. The other thing that changed drum-wise was this kit. I actually recorded this album with my Star Classic Birch Babinga kit, the red one that I'd used on tour for Threads of Life and for half the Retribution tour as well. Just because all albums, I no longer that one a lot. That's kind of just in storage, and I really wanted to use the Birch Babinga kit, so I took a chance, and I was hoping it was going to sound good in the studio, and it ended up sounding great. So I was really, really happy with the way the drums came out in this last album. They
sure do sound good. And another thing too, going back to your Asian tour, how's it going? Those countries playing?
Oh, it was a blast. It was great. We went to Went to a few territories where we've been before, and we went to a few territories that we hadn't been before. We went to Thailand, Taiwan, and China for the first time. And Taiwan and Thailand were really good club shows, and China we headlined a festival for 20,000 people, so that was definitely a career highlight. And then for the other two shows were Korea and the Philippines, which we've been before, but you know they always really are great shows for us. Just the people and the fans and everything else. It's always a good time there. So that was a really successful week for us.
To fly up there is not too hard?
Oh no, it's very hard. It's a 23-hour trip to get there. We flew 23 hours to get there, and then we had almost a 30-hour trip to get home.
Wow.
But it's all right. You deal with it.
It's all for rock and roll.
The goods outweigh the bad. Yep. The goods outweigh the bad.
So basically, what you doing in December?
Right now, just as I said, writing with both bands. Burning Human has a few shows. Shadows Fall has a few shows, actually. One in New York City, one in New Jersey. And then just time off for the holidays and go to the NAMM show in Anaheim in January.
Well, Jason, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and wish you luck and success in what you do, man. It's all great.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, Jason. Sounds good, man.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care. Have a good night.